before we start anything and we start the review for My Hero Academia, um, tell me why My Hero Academia almost got me fucking crying for this episode. Because I'm not gonna say it in the beginning of the video, because I'm gonna explain it later. But tell me why this fucking episode almost got me fucking crying. No, but seriously, um, yeah, we're back with My Hero Academia. I keep getting notifications on my phone, so I'm getting distracted. I apologize for that, but I promise you when I say that I was about to cry. I promise you when I say that it's true, because by the end of the episode and what happens at the end of the fight versus All Might and All for One, I was just like, dog, bruh, are they actually gonna kill? Are they actually gonna kill him off? And spoiler alert, no, they don't. They don't kill him off, and I'll get into what they actually do to All Might later in the video. But the episode starts off with exposition and a flashback for All Might, and it's basically All Might when he meets the previous user of One for All, which was his teacher and his master, essentially, right? Her name is Nana Shimura. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Don't quote me on that, but her name's Nana, right? And like I said, she was the previous user of One for All. And to my surprise, I wasn't really expecting it, but it's a girl, right? It's a lady, and I was like, oh, that's neat. She don't look too bad either. She kind of looked like one of the prettier anime girls that I've seen from anime, so it's whatever. Potential waifu from, I guess, some of you, I guess, but you'll probably never see her ever again besides flashbacks, so that's kind of sad, isn't it? But it shows that, and then it gets straight into the intro or the opening, right? Yeah, I'm just like, dog, the suspense is killing me. And then they do a little like title cut or whatever for One for All, and the city and the people in it are freaking the hell out because they're hearing all these explosions. They're all the explosions are going off. People, I guess, are dying because by the end of the episode, when again, spoilers, All for One gets beaten by All Might. There were some casualties, right? So people are fucking dying. Explosions are going off. People are freaking out, right? And there's a helicopter with a TV crew up there, and they're basically showing off like the whole fight and how it's going on. But before we actually get back into the action, Deku and Todoroki are speaking to each other because they got away from the fight itself because they saved Bakugo and everything, which is really cool. I still really like that part of the episode last week. And All Might starts talking about don't disrespect his master, don't disrespect his teacher, to All for One, because he's disrespecting them. So they have a little bit of monologuing. He's talking about how she was like weak or whatever. She was embarrassing for she was embarrassing for a user since he created One for All, and I don't know who like the previous user of One for All was before Nana, which might be explored later on in the series. But All Might gets sent flying into the air and almost crashes into the helicopter, right? And luckily Gran Torino is there, and he pretty much saves him from crashing into the helicopter. But at this point, All Might, or AKA Tall Might, is starting to like shrink down, and he's almost showing like his true self, right? So Gran Torino is starting to tell All Might that this guy is like really smart. So a direct attack, like how All Might normally fights in the anime, that's not gonna work. He has to get a little bit smarter with his attacks and be tricky with them. And it just seems like All Might can't even fucking move. At this point, it's just at this point we don't even know if he can actually like throw any attacks or something, because he's just he looks so defeated. He looks so different from what he normally looks like. And the thing is like I mentioned earlier, there's a TV broadcast crew up in the helicopter, right in the sky. So everybody around all over the world is watching this happen. They're watching this go on, and I really liked that they did this. I liked how they did this because then you start hearing the people all around the city and all around the world, and they're talking and they're speaking, and they're nervous because they're starting to doubt All Might and whether or not he can actually win this or not. No one actually knows if he can win this, and the heroes are losing, and they keep on losing, and stuff just keeps happening, and the heroes can't save people like they could before in the past, and they're starting to doubt him. And it eventually gets to a point where All For One, he throws an attack. And at this point in the fight, he's throwing attacks that aren't even supposed to kill All Might, but are doing severe damage to his body or whatever. And then plot related stuff, because All Might is the symbol of peace and the number one hero. There's someone in the background, and it's a woman, and she's in the midst of a fight, and a fight between two of the strongest characters in the series at this point, right? And of course, All Might being the symbol of peace and the number one hero has to do something to protect this lady from not getting killed, right? So All For One throws the punch or throws the attack, and All Might dodges it. Or not dodges it, he actually blocks it. He stops it from continuing on any forward. And in the next shot, as the camera rises and shows All Might, he's like in his malnourished Small Might form. And because I mentioned before, the camera crew, everybody is seeing this. And this is very important because nobody besides those from the UA Academy knew this, and Deku. Most of the teachers, and stuff like that at UA High School, and Deku, those were the only people who knew this side of All Might. And everybody sees this. Everyone, all the heroes, all the kids who go to UA High School to become the next generation of heroes, everyone in the city, everyone all around the world is seeing All Might at his lowest point. His big secret, his big dark secret that he didn't want anyone to know, has finally been revealed to the public. And Deku just can't even believe it. Deku can't even fucking believe it. And then they showed the flashback of what happened with Deku when he first saw this from All Might, and just the reason why he didn't want anyone to see this is because he wanted to stay as the symbol of peace who couldn't be daunted by evil. He wanted people to see All Might as the person who fights evil with a smile and doesn't get defeated. And then at this point, they're watching the fight, and he looks so defeated. He looks just like he can't win, and they're doubting him. And All For One just keeps, taunting him. He's taunting him and saying all this other stuff. All Might is obviously, saying that his heart as the symbol of peace isn't, extinguishing. And then he drops kind of a bombshell, right? He kind of drops a bombshell. Not even kind of. He drops one of the biggest bombshells that All Might didn't know about and didn't expect. And it's the fact that Tomura Shigaraki, the guy, the main guy that we see kind of run League of Villains, like in front of like the cameras and stuff, I guess, besides All For One, it's revealed that he's the grandson of Nana Shimura, who is All Might's master and the previous holder for One For All. And All Might can't believe this. He can't believe this. He doesn't believe him. He thinks it's lies. And then All For One starts mocking her. And it's disrespectful as shit. And I'm just like, you fucking bastard, right? And then everyone all over the world, they want him to win, because no one currently is strong enough to be able to defeat him. So even though he looks like he is weakest, he looks so defeated, everyone around the world is screaming for All Might to win. And I really liked the scene, because it showed that even though All Might can't win and he's like weakened, sort of, they didn't care. They still believed in him. They still believed that All Might could win. He looked different from what they normally see him as, but he's still All Might, and they truly believe in their heart of hearts that All Might is the number one hero for a reason, and he can defeat this guy. He could win, and he could save the world. And then they show a scene. The next scene is Deku and Bakugo, and they're both screaming for All Might to win. And then All Might, he powers up. He powers up with all of his the rest of his one for all power into his right arm, and at this point it's freaking huge, right? It's like big dick arm, right? So, and then obviously they like cut it because that's supposed to be like a commercial break, and over in Japan, over on Fuji TV, and they basically say, and basically the next scene is Nana, which is All Might's teacher or master or whatever. She's telling him in kind of like an exposition flashback that remember that whenever you're at your lowest and you think you can't win, and when you clench your fist, that remember your origin, remember where you came from, and that will give you just a little to be able to pass your limitations and continue on and win. And that's what All Might is doing. All Might is remembering his origins. He's remembering, his past and how it was and how he came to be as the number one hero and why he's currently in the situation that he is. He's the number one hero. He's the symbol of peace. He remembers his origin. He remembers his past and how he was quirkless. And then, even though he was quirkless, he had become the number one hero. And he's ready to fight, and he may even be ready to fucking die. And then all the other heroes that were over where the League of Villains' hideout actually was, they finally get there. And Endeavor, being the number two hero, is seeing the number one hero, at his lowest, right? And he's never seen him like this before. And Endeavor worked diligently to be able to surpass All Might. And even he's still rooting for All Might to be able to fucking beat this guy, right? And then all the other heroes are trying to get those who kind of got like knocked out, kind of in the facility, like Best Genus and Mountain Lady and stuff. And they're trying to get him out of there, and luckily they do. And then they show a flashback of Gran Torino when he was like younger and stuff, and for some reason he was taller. It was so weird to me. Like, Gran Torino was taller in the flashback that they showed, and I'm like, dog, do you actually get shorter when you age? That's fucking weird. Anyways, that's not the point. But they go back to the action. Everyone's screaming for All Might to win, and it's an emotional scene. He's hearing the voices of his students that admired him, the people all over the world who admired him and have seen him as this number one hero. They're all screaming, All Might, All Might, All Might, and they want him to win and just beat this guy. They want him to fucking win, dude. It's so crazy. All for one, he creates a blast that kind of like sends a couple people, a couple other of the heroes flying, and then this motherfucker grows like big black dick arm, right, with spring-like limbs, kinetic booster ×4, strength enhancer ×4, multiplier, strength enhancer ×4, multiplayer, hypertrophy revits, airwalks, spear-like bones, basically just a whole bunch of quirks inside of one arm and one punch. And this is supposed to be able to basically kill All Might. That's what it's used for. And then they show the fire that's lit inside of All Might, and it's one for all, and basically it's a small fire, and every single time All Might uses one for all, it's weakening, it's growing shorter. And then All for one, he throws his punch, and then obviously because All Might has to defend himself, he throws his punch. And before that happens, he actually mentions Midoriya and Deku. He mentions Deku and how he's the next holder of one for all, and he's basically calling him insignificant because he doesn't really know how to control one for all yet. So it basically means nothing. So basically, the clash between All for One and One for All, aka All Might, their fist clash, and I don't even know what the hell is happening at this point, because like blood's coming out of All Might's fucking arm. It's being fucking shattered to fucking pieces and shit. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna fucking die. Please tell me he's not gonna die. And then what All Might does, which was like really cool, he makes his right arm back to normal and like how it normally was, and he switches the power of One for All from his right arm to his left arm, and he throws the left hook over to All for One. I thought that was freaking awesome, right? And then he throws back the power of One for All back into his right arm, and he basically goes full power, like full power, 100%, true 100 fucking percent. And then he throws the next attack, which is currently All Might's strongest attack, probably the strongest attack that any user of One for All can actually use. And the attack name is called United States of Smash. And he throws the attack towards All for One. The attack connects, and then the next scene is just his face and his body being slammed into the ground, and then a huge explosion and a tornado erupts from the ground, destroying everything in the surrounding area, sending people flying off, and the helicopters becoming out of control because for some reason they're still there. And All Might just stands there, and he's not moving. And then the camera crew cuts back to him, and he's just standing there, and someone's on my fucking door. I'm sorry, I'm back. All Might, he's standing there. He's weak. He can't even fucking move. He can barely move. The camera cuts back to him. The camera crew cuts back to him. And he just lifts his arm in the air, and then he becomes Tall Might again. And then it symbolizes that he won the fight, and that All for One is defeated. And a couple of scenes happen after that. Everyone around the world is basically crying, and they're happy and excited that their number one hero finally won, right? So a couple scenes later, one of the camera crews point a camera towards All Might, and he just points at the camera. He points at the camera, and then the next scene, he's saying that it's basically his turn. Next, it's your turn. That's quote what All Might says. And Deku in narration says, from everyone else's perspective, it looks like that's what he was trying to say towards all the other villains that have yet been unseen. But to Deku, it meant something entirely different. And that's because All Might can now never use One for All, I assume. And All Might has to now permanently retire as a hero. All of his hero work has now been stopped. And now he's permanently retired. And he can no longer be the symbol of peace that the world needed. And the episode ends, and Deku's just crying, and he's upset because now it's Deku's job to be able to do what All Might did. It's his turn. It's time for him to do what he needs to do. And then the episode just ends on mid ground, because we don't know if it's like a high note or if it's a low note, because it's because All Might has to permanently retire, but he beat All for One, but he can't be the symbol of peace. So what's gonna happen next? I don't know. I don't know. Part of me is like confused, because I want to be happy because he wanted to fight, but I want to cry because I thought he was almost gonna die, and I want to be kind of just even more upset because now he can't do what he wanted to do, what he's been doing all this time. I'm just like, dog, what happened, man? Don't do this. No, it doesn't have to be the way that you think it has to be. and it might have to be the way that it has to be. And I'm really kind of upset. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for next week and see what happens. The previews kind of show kind of the events kind of like sink in to everyone, and especially All Might and Deku and everyone else. It's just, uh, the episode was really fucking good. The episode, it worked. It was really good. Animation, this episode looked fantastic. I don't know what else to say about this episode. It was really good. There was so much expectations for this episode for a lot of people, because I imagine for those who are reading the manga, you all have been waiting for this episode to finally, you know, be animated, and now it's here and it's really good. It's really good. Go watch it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's really good. I shouldn't have to say this, but go watch Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia. It's one of the best shonen anime ever, in my opinion. It's one of the best shonen anime you'll ever see in your lifetime. So that's the end of the video. I have nothing else to add on top of the topic. Go watch the episode if you haven't already. I shouldn't have to tell you this, like I said, but I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap up the video. I already said that, but I'm recording this on Saturday. You're gonna be seeing this on Sunday, and I'm also gonna try to get the Persona 5 video out. And if it doesn't come out Sunday, it'll come out Monday. But regardless, I hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. If you're new to the channel, please consider to subscribe for more videos just like this. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, morning, evening, whatever. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.